Welcome. How we doing, Greenwood fam? It's your boy Mars, and we have Flex the producer, Miss Ladybug, and Ace with us today. Today we're gonna talk about some tough topics and some informative topics for the culture. We got Brittney Griner, we got conspiracy theorists and their misinformation, and then we got some monkeypox that we're gonna talk about. All right. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Floor is Yours podcast. Go ahead and download the streaming app Mogul TV. Welcome our Mogul TV guests because some of you guys are already here as well. I'm gonna let Miss Ladybug go ahead and introduce herself for the new people, and then we'll roll with the guys.
All right. Again, I am Ladybug. I'm Angie, aka Ladybug. We are going to bring you some amazing stuff tonight. I wanted to definitely make sure to say, if you are in our Mogul Media community, please like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have ability to stream on your channel, we'd appreciate it if you do that. You can find the Floor is Yours podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Please go ahead, become our friends. Follow all of our shows. Said What I Said, Love and Relationships, Greenwood, of course, because we're coming to you from the Greenwood platform today. And so as long as we continue to bring you these topics, we want to keep you informed. We want to let you know that we're going to always be here bringing you the best content that you can find anywhere. So again, I'm Ladybug. I'm going to kick it over to Ace, and I'll let Ace, he's going to tell you about what we're going to bring to you today.
Well, I'm Ace. I'm new to the family. I'm quote unquote the numbers guy, so I'm gonna bring you numbers, statistics to most of our hot topics, and just trying to bring a different insight, a different insight to the culture, to the team.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Flex.
Yeah, I'm just here. I'm Flex, and I'm just here so I don't get fined. So, but hey, just to back up what Ladybug said, y'all check us out on all the different platforms. We're putting out some good information, and our humblest opinion is great information. So we just want y'all to tap in, comment, share, let people know. And also, if you got topics that you want us to discuss, be sure y'all let us know too, because this is your platform too. So we want to make sure that we are building a community that everyone's voice is being heard. So appreciate y'all joining in, and I hope y'all enjoy this show.
I love that you said humblest opinion. That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Some people may not like our humble opinion, but that's okay. We're gonna give it to you anyway.
Anyway,
Miss Shelly Cole, how you doing? I appreciate you for tuning in. So, like I said, our topics today are going to be Brittney Griner, which is very hot right now. Very interesting, very heartbreaking. And then we're going to talk about some conspiracy theorists and their misinformation. And then we'll go to the monkeypox. So without further ado, how are we feeling about Miss Brittney Griner?
Well, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to say, I know that as of right now, we're in conversation and talks with Russia to work on an exchange. So I feel this way. Seeing is believing. Russia has been in talks with Ukraine to end the war from the very beginning. So I don't know if this is a reel you in and then throw you back out to sea type of situation.
Yeah, I can see that. Man, this is so many moving pieces in there. And we know how it is with Russia. They do what they want to do and make you think they're on board. And do y'all remember that time when Bush was president? And Bush did that whole pitch, like I looked into his eyes and I could see his soul, and he's an honest man. And then Putin pulled
Oh,
that rug from under me, right? So,
He did that
and it's just
quickly.
a reminder that this guy ex KGB, and if you understand, what that means, man. He just man, he does what's good for him, and I wouldn't even say his country. Really, at the end of the day, what's good for him. So I don't know. I think also, just real quick before we kick it to somebody else, I know a lot of people are saying that if it was LeBron James, that he would be home by now. And I don't know how y'all feel about that. I would like to throw that into the discussion as well.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Ace,
Yeah.
you got your starting statement?
Brittney Griner, I think she's a pawn on one side of it. I also think she is a victim of circumstances, and she's a victim of circumstances. Do I think if it was LeBron, would he be still over there? Absolutely, because we're
me too.
talking about Russia. We're not talking about Russia. When we're talking about Russia, we're not talking about some,
Yeah, exactly.
fly by country. We're
That
talking
care
about
about
Russia.
our popular culture.
Yeah.
Right.
So, first and foremost, I think Brittany has been taking marijuana back and forth for a while. She never got caught. That's the reason why I think she was doing it. Because in my opinion, if you do something for so long, it's only a matter of time you get caught. So she got caught. She took accountability for it, and they gave her 9. And I was on the bandwagon of her being a black young lady and her being this and the third until I started actually researching it. It's a doctor that's over there, doctor turned a teacher, a doctor that it was also a teacher, and he's
Yeah.
over there too for having medical marijuana that he had prescription for. And like I said, it's their country, it's their rules, and like
He
they
got a
tell us,
longer sentence, right?
yeah, he got like 19,
Yeah.
So I would like to say
but she is a
19 is a
pawn.
lot.
She is a pawn as
She is a
well.
pawn for sure. 19 is a lot. 19 is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot more than what Ms. Griner got. However, I'll tell you this. She did know the risk. That's number one. As people
Yes,
going
her
through this,
accountability, everything.
exactly. And I spoke about this law of the land. You have to know the law of the land. That's your military people. You know the law of the land. If you go in there and you do something stupid, you're liable to get in trouble. It sucks that she did something knowing that she could get caught, especially during wartime. I think it was extremely, I guess, not ill-mannered, but just not processed on her part. I know she's going over there and she's there for a while.
Careless.
Exactly, very careless. You know what I mean? So on the note of talking about the doctor and other people that they had about 2019, it was 2019, Aubrey Lorber was
The
arrested in Russia.
Israeli woman. That's right.
Yes. So she was arrested in Russia for the same crime. And she had 17 grams instead of 0.17 or
And she
0.07
has
is what, 0.07 is what Brittney Griner had. Now, this is not 2022. This is not with Ukraine. We are. But what it is my bad. But what it is that she was fair skinned, right?
she's
She
erased.
was fair skinned. There was it was kind of under the table how she got out, and what she got, she was sentenced to 2 months detention and charged 15,000 rubles, which is $250 in American money. This was her crime was more than Brittney Griner's. She was short because we all know Brittney Griner was towering over all them Russians in there. They're intimidated by this woman as well.
Right.
But I'll let the culture and the rest of you guys talk about how Miss Lauber gets out with 17 grams and a slap on the wrist compared to what's going on.
Well, I don't think there's not much on that end to dive into. I think that it's obvious why she was released, or why she was released so fast and had to serve a lesser sentence, and so I think that of course we are in a political hot box right now, and so I think that, like we said, she's definitely a pawn, and she's definitely not white, and she's definitely a gay black woman. And so all of those factors have piled on top of each other. along with just tensions between the U.S. and Russia, and Russia wanting to be a part of NATO. So I think that in saying that, I think that that is one of the obvious things is the color of her skin. And
Yeah.
but to go back to accountability, I hate that she is experiencing the issues that she's experiencing. But I feel like she decided to play ball in Russia because she knows that Russia pays more than other at four to play basketball. But the problem that I have with it is that when you assume those positions, you have to realize the responsibility of what could happen and how that relates to your family
Yeah.
and your livelihood and what happens to you. And so, yes, we do want Brittney to be released. But I'm not going to say that I've been out here, signing and going to basketball coalitions, runs, marches for Brittney Griner. I just haven't, because I feel like she also knew and she took this job for money. I'm not seeing a piece of it, but I do wish her best. I do, and I do think that eventually she will be brought home.
Yeah.
So
I
you
don't know.
thinking
I
that
don't know if
we're
just throw her
wrong for
back out.
making that we're
Go
wrong
ahead.
for making it a race issue?
I think that it's more a political issue than it is a
Yeah.
race issue.
Yeah.
And then I think that then they say, oh, and she's black too. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I
I
said,
think that
she fell in their lap. She
Yeah.
fell right in their lap, and
And
it was like, oh,
but the war was going on when she
yes,
stepped
she
in
understood
the
the risk.
airport. So
She understood the risk.
she understood the risk, and she decided to make the decision to walk into that airport with anything on her. It's just like saying, if you are a black man riding in a white neighborhood and you have some rims that look loud, you smoking loud, you being loud, your music playing on the outside,
Your risks are heightened.
you may be inviting this type of energy. Now, no one should just stop you just because of the way you look and you ride. But at the end of the day, we have to remember, how are we drawing attention to ourselves when attention is already on us, especially as a people?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a good point.
Ace, you look like you have something to say.
I do, but it's way deeper than the actual conversation. I want to leave it at its surface. I think y'all touched everything that needs to be touched.
Well, I do think that, like you said, the accountability is there. And so when her risk was heightened, like as you just explained, Ladybug, heightening your risk, so increasing your risk of being in trouble, or increasing your risk of somebody treating
you out.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Singling you out. She's been over there for years now. And now I do want people to know that are ill-informed. Men go over there as well. The LeVar Ball sons, the two other ones that didn't make it into the NBA right away, they went overseas. Now they didn't go to Russia, but they went overseas. Some of these players start overseas because there is more money into it. I don't believe she really thought it out, because like I said, she's been going there, and if she really wanted something like that, she could get it. She probably has somebody over there she could get it from. Now bringing it over was it was very ill-advised, and she knew that. So that accountability, heightening those risks, it really sucks, to be honest.
And at Greenwood, we want to also talk about accountability. So there you go, people. Accountability is always going to be on our topic list whenever we talk about these issues on Greenwood Podcast.
Of course.
Because we can't expect the kumbayas and the tiki lights and stuff behind us if we are constantly walking in a direction that might lead us down a path that could eventually put us in a
always. And we do know that. Like I said, there's a light switch. We know when we're in certain areas, we shouldn't draw more attention to ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next,
especially war.
Y'all good on that one?
Especially we want more.
Well, especially during war.
Yeah, exactly. Especially during war.
Mm-hmm. Especially
during war. And so, again, we are a society and a country that other countries are always going to pay attention to. They're always going to want to mimic in some form or fashion. So, people know that if they have the ability to hurt us through our celebrities, through our government officials. They're going to use that opportunity to do that. I mean, it's just like you have haters at home that live in the same thing. You're going to have haters overseas too.
You're most likely gonna have haters overseas for sure,
So
because people are
realize,
envious, and we're American. You know what I mean? Like it's not even
exactly.
just that we're black or we're athletic or
Yeah,
we're
you are.
famous, whoever it is. You know what I mean? We're American, and some people, especially Russia, right now, they're gonna pull for you. So y'all want
Real
to
talk.
jump
I would.
to conspiracy theorists?
Let's do
Since
it.
this is one of the, since we talk about being American, we segue into that because that's one of the most American thing is to be indulged in conspiracy theories. I know
and,
that I've
and
gone
tie
down the
that
rabbit hole.
freedom of speech and tie it into
Yeah,
freedom of speech.
yeah,
Go
because
ahead.
freedom of speech is what we're doing here now, and so that's
Right.
why this is such an important topic because people will shed their freedom of speech in their form of their humble opinion, as Flex said earlier, and if you believe it wholeheartedly, as in some of, we'll get to Alex Jones, someone like him, if you believe in what you're saying, are you hold liable or should you be held accountable in the court system if you're wrong on your
Yeah.
conspiracy theory?
Yeah, and I think so. That goes back. We hear it all the time that you got freedom of speech, but you're not free from the consequences of said speech. So, and I'll just throw in there by Alex Jones. I, for 1 second, don't believe that he thought Sandy Hook was a hoax. It was a way for him to capitalize off a gullible society, a hateful society. People will, knowing that they're wrong, will push it just for whatever benefit they have. For Alex Jones, it was for the popularity, which brought the money, and that's what it was for him. And so I agree that he should be held accountable for his speech. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. Again, you can say it, but it doesn't come with no
Out
consequences.
consequence.
So
And considering he was
Can
making
you, Ladybug or
$800,000.
Ace? Can you explain? Yeah, can you explain the
So
Alex Jones?
Alex Jones is from InfoWars. He runs a podcast slash video cast slash. So he's on all your platforms. And so I think that what he has built his platform off of is conspiracy theories. And I think that one of the biggest conspiracy theories that brought him the most money was the fact that Sandy Hook, where 21, 22 people died in an elementary school, and 20 of them were children. He said that the actors were fake, the kids' pictures were fake. And so, what his rhetoric did was it all these people that were against establishment. It helped build a lot of what you see in Proud Boys and these organizations. It made them feel like they had a bigger platform. And so he
yeah,
started selling merch off his platform. And he garnered more and more people. His contract got bigger. And so he became very famous for his conspiracy theories, even the COVID ones. And so
yeah,
what has happened is that
Which is the most
through
recent
what
ones?
has exactly what has happened with the Sandy Hook victims is that some of the parents have launched lawsuits against him. And one of the current lawsuits that we saw him face just recently, the parents have had to go underground because they received death threats, people telling them that they were hoaxes, and they've really suffered from the defamation that their children did not die in this horrific mass shooting. So we fast forward to now. And now the host of characters that we see are that I saw in the last 2 weeks, I was able to catch a glimpse on, has been most riveting ever. Okay, we watched lawyers mistakenly send text messages over to the Infowar. Lawyers sent them over to the prosecution, and the
yeah,
prosecution basically came out in court, called him out on it. And then this man had the audacity to shame the jurors and say that these were just blue class collar people and that these blue class collar people have no idea what planet they're on. And so they
yeah,
showed him by issuing a 4.1 million defamation and then another 45 million. And so even on his
yeah,
InfoWars show, he said that his lawyers would tie up most of that in litigation. So this man is continuing to form. And during sentencing, one of the parents came out and said, going to stop. So I think that they're doing what they're doing what society realizes is to hurt these type of people where it hurts most, and that is in their pockets. So considering you're
Yeah.
talking about a man from
Yeah.
2020 to 2021 that made roughly $800,000 a day. I mean, you're talking
Hey,
about a
yeah.
situation where he has a unnowned amount of money on his roof, and they're going to do everything that they can to take it. And I am so excited about that, and I wish him the best.
I love taking people's money, you know, that don't deserve it. But I will say this. I don't know if it's in this instant that this is taking place, but I highly doubt it because of the impact and the families and all of them that has come out. But when you have a good thought up against people that are really trying to hide the conspiracy theory, because conspiracy theory, most people don't know, is a newer word. That's a newer phrase. That's a newer phrase within the past like 30 or 40 years. And I think it was right around JFK got killed. You see what I'm saying? It was made up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was kind of like, hold on a second. We can't allow people to start saying stuff that might be true that we are.
Watergate was
Exactly.
was actually,
But it was true.
and
But
a
it
lot
actually
of
happened.
people really understand what was going on behind the scenes of Watergate. So a lot of that was created.
Exactly. So that's what people don't think.
Right.
Some people
Exactly.
think the thought of conspiracy theory is centuries old, but it's not. It's newer to kind of hush some of the stuff that's going on in the background, like Miss Ladybug alluded to. But since you have so much,
and it has
it does.
full basis.
It does,
Yeah.
and that's because people don't want you to know what they're doing. And it's not saying, when people say conspiracy theory, most of the time they don't say that's not right, that's not true, that's not facts. They say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, and then it's already, you know what I mean, it's already smashed off. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to put that in because some people don't really understand it, and they just fall behind the box of just saying, oh, that's conspiracy theory because we don't want to think about it. You know what I mean? But like I was alluding to, since there's so much conspiracy theory out there, it's hard to decipher what's right and what's wrong, or what's, you know, close to the facts, because it could be some parts factual and then the one piece that's, you know, outlandish is what's killing it. You know what I mean? So I did want to just inform the culture about that, because I feel like Black folks really don't understand conspiracy theory. I think we just think it's about leprechauns and stuff.
Yeah, and you bring a good point. I know Ace got something to say on this just real quick before Ace speaks. But shout out to the homie Jamel for shouting out Flex, man. You know, anytime someone
It's Flex Arcana now. Hey, you guys,
Flex
all
Arcana.
channels is
Yeah.
now Flex Arcana. Flex
Flex
Arcana.
Arcana, that's my city. Hey, what you got, Ace?
Yeah, it look like you itching.
With the conspiracy theories, for me, I feel like most of them are more true than they are false, because
With you.
the bigger entities don't try to disclaim them. For example, you know, we got the chemtrails, we got the JFK assassinations, we got the Paul McCarthy's death. We got much stuff.
The Illuminati.
Everything. These ideas just pop up, and you know, you have the nerds and the scientists, and they actually research it, and they come this whole theory. And most of those theories, like I work off logic. I work off logic, so wait.
I was gonna tell you, jump out and get back in and come back with your thought, man, because you make some good points, and I don't want to miss them because the connection is bad. But while he's bringing it in, I want while he's getting back off, I do want to amplify the point that he made that not all conspiracy theories are false. There are some real ones. I think the big issue is the carelessness that comes about when people are bringing about these conspiracy theories, and in some communities, man, they just dabble in, you know, disinformation. And I just remember Kellyanne Conway on the Trump's viruses. I don't know if y'all remember the alternative facts deal that she talked about when they was challenging some of the information that was out there, and she said, "Oh, well, I'm just giving y'all alternative facts." Well, it ain't no alternative facts. If it's not facts, it's a lie. And I
Right?
think a lot
Yeah.
of us,
Okay,
and
okay. Let me ask you guys this then.
okay,
What is the biggest conspiracy theory that you actually think might hold weight? I know this is a little off
Uh-oh.
track. I'm really interested to
It's
know.
not off track, but you're trying to get people coming for us.
hey, Ace
But no,
go,
all
Ace
right,
go.
I'll answer that. But I just wanted to drive this home though. Things like this, the Alex Jones and the Sandy Hook conspiracy theory, makes it hard for other conspiracy theories for other people to get to understand that there's
Right.
truth in conspiracy theories. That's the worst part about this, as big as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: mine would be 9/11, but I'm gonna leave it there. And that's not just 9/11. It's all of the stuff that happens right before we go into a war. World War One, World War Two, and then
Okay.
9/11. So
Mine
you're
is
talking
mine is
Pearl
landing,
Harbor, you're talking
mine is
the
landing,
submarine.
Yours
Is
is
what?
what?
mine is landing on the moon.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah, that's easy. That's
So
an
what?
easy one.
You know what? That's one of mine. The other one would be like Roswell or like UFOs and stuff like that.
Roswell's a good one. Yeah.
I got a good one. The Earth is flat. I'm
That's a good one, and we're gonna talk about that one. I'll shoot you some stuff. I'll shoot you some stuff from my rabbit hole.
Okay. That's exactly what it's going to be. So again, I think Mars, you made a great point that there is some real stuff out there that is being covered up, but stuff that with yeah, Ace, that is better, man. But the stuff like with Andy Hook and some components of 9/11, because I believe wholeheartedly that we haven't been given the total truth intentionally, for whatever reasons. But I think that it can
National security reasons. That's why they say
yeah.
for
I,
national security.
Well, let's just throw this out there for people that don't know. The guy that owned the Twin Towers took out a insurance policy on both of the Twin Towers just in case, for specifically a plane getting hit. I think I don't know the specific time period, but it was within a 2-month period, so it was like closer. I think it was within weeks, to be honest. Before
But was that proved to be true? Because I did hear that, but I heard that it wasn't factual.
Well, how do we fact check? We gotta go to fact check, which is created by the government anyway. So right, so that's neither here nor there, right? That's neither here nor there. But Ace, did you want to finish your point?
Ace connection is bad.
Y'all lagging again.
I do a lot of.
You good? Try it out. You good?
Oh, he got back out. Okay, so
let's roll. Let's go ahead real quick. Since we're coming up on 30 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and roll a commercial break, and then Ace will be right back.
Hey,
and corruption abounds, demons working overtime.
Yeah, so let's hit this comment right here while we prepare for the commercial. If you don't mind, Ladybug,
he played into the gullibility of his base. So yeah, that's exactly what he did as far as Alex Jones is concerned.
Yep.
This guy played into the gullibility of people believing him. He set up enough building blocks to make them build emotionally and mentally off of. So anybody can give you points that are factual and then build around that and create some type of house for your mental to live in. And that's exactly what he did. He said, okay, we know this is true, and I know that is true, and I know that is true. And then everything that he filled in between that was just water. It was just that they were drinking it.
It's basically the you make a pros and cons list. That's one of the cons of freedom of speech. Do you see what I'm saying? Because people will believe.
He is the Jim Jones of podcasts. He is the Jim Jones of conspiracy theories. I mean, he and Tucker Carlson are like, Ace Boone Coons. Like, seriously, we're talking about people that were able to reach the masses, and one of the things that the parents wanted to do, they wanted like a extra $2 million for like every one of his followers. So they were asking for $250 million, but of course, they awarded them the 4.1, then an additional 45 million. But they were asking for $2 million for every 15 million followers they had. So that lets you know the amount of people. Now, not to say all these people believed in him, because some people like me, I want to see what the enemy is doing. I want to know what they're saying. So yeah, I might be a part of that podcast.
It's a market.
Of the rhetoric.
Well, because I do follow some people. I do follow some people on Instagram based off of what they say, and I'm just like, man, this dude's annoying. But I follow them because I want to hear their perspective that is not too well. Ace, you said you forgot it, but you got any other points on this?
No, I don't want to go into a rabbit hole about this, but like I said, I believe in it's 80-20. It's 80-20 in me, because people can think what they want to fabricate, tell their truth. Well,
and if it sounds
I don't think
good,
these ideas exactly. I don't think these ideas just come out of nowhere. Just like the noses knocked off the statues in Egypt, the pyramids all missing their caps. I mean, the story is that the Brits came and shot them all off, but we all know that's a lie. So,
and then I heard the Nazis. So
right.
See, like, it's a lot to it, but
but a lot of
times they had Wi-Fi. They had Wi-Fi way before
that.
Right, that part. That part.
Yeah. Some of that plays into Flex's little, well, not little, but flat Earth theory.
It does.
It's not my theory, and I do not believe it.
Man, they said something. They said something about ice walls, possibly, and different continents and Pangeas on the outside and stuff.
All I'm gonna say is, when I look at those eclipses, I never see a straight line eclipse. From the Earth is always round, so I'm just gonna leave it.
That's easy, man. You ever heard of Photoshop?
All you need is a telescope. Just get your telescope, and then
we got the fisheye camera now. You ever seen people just be all weirdly looked in the camera? Yeah, you can do anything.
Everything else is round, but whatever
let me say something that I was doing on my other podcast. It's interesting. So June 29th was our fastest day ever, because the Earth is spinning faster than it's ever spun before. That's interesting. 1.5936 milliseconds faster, but that is very important. You know what I mean? Because people have been noticing it. Some people have been saying the days are getting shorter.
All I'm saying, if it's flat, it ain't spinning.
Hey, you ever seen a frisbee? That thing spins.
I'm good.
All right, Flex, you want to roll that commercial? We'll be right back with our next topic.
Yeah.
Stepped in that water. Yeah. You gotta be willing to go out and get it. You gotta dive in and go and get it. Stepped in that water, stepped in that water, stepped in that water. Yeah.
Welcome back, people. So, as we just got off of our conspiracy theorists, which is very, very interesting topic, and we had fun with it, we're gonna go ahead and roll to something that is serious. It could be very detrimental to the next 3 or 4 years, as we're still getting over our last pandemic. We're still not even over that, but yet we have something else to deal with, which is going to be the monkeypox. So, Flex, if you want to go ahead and run that video for monkeypox, we'll start there.
Instagram is usually where we see our friends and family.
Okay, so if you guys can hear me, as a little feedback. Okay. You can come out if you want, Flex. So the young lady that we were looking at there, she was one of the first women to be diagnosed with monkeypox, and she was sharing her story. And basically, her story was that she worked at a QT in Georgia, and she came across handling money, surfaces, touching people, and what has happened is that she contracted monkeypox, and so the CDC has come out with a lot of information concerning what is and isn't true about monkeypox. So, I definitely want us to kind of go into informing our community at least 3 or 4 things about monkeypox that we can kind of clarify. I know Ace has some information he's going to share with us. And again, we want to thank you guys for staying tuned with us on Greenwood, the podcast, and all of our mogul media people for coming back after the break. So I'm going to kick it over to Ace. Ace is what we call our numbers guy, and he's going to give us a little information on what he has on monkeypox.
So in short, man, as of August 5th, which is Friday, we have 862 confirmed cases of monkeypox, and the hotbeds are Texas, New York, California, and this is more people, more problems. So, what a lot of people don't know is this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time that we had like an outbreak. The first outbreak of monkeypox was in 2003, but it was kept under the wraps, and just it was really contained to the Midwest. Monkeypox is it's said to come from West Africa, Ghana to be specific, through what are prairie dogs, and I don't know the actual story, but a human came in contact with it, and it just spread. Those are the numbers that I have now, but in America is the least amount of cases. I will say that.
Hey, can you clarify how many did you say confirmed cases?
The confirmed cases is 1,862 in America.
Okay.
So,
Thought it was more.
So some of the questions that come across the CDC is it accurate to think that monkeypox is a sexually transmitted disease? Now, yes, the origin, like he said, is Africa, but as it's moved its way into the United States, yes, multiple lines of evidence indicate that during the outbreak, primary way to contract the virus is spreading it through close physical contact during sex, particularly sexual encounters among people that have anal sex.
Yeah, and I think that's important to bring up because when you think about the population through COVID, we have began to be more careful about how close we are to each other. We're, washing our hands, sanitizing our hands a lot more. So, and just my uneducated opinion or thought about this is when you think about just sexual contact and the looseness, or there's, nothing
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. I use that word. I could see how the fact that Ladybug just gave how it could be such. So I don't think that, and maybe I'm misstating it. It's just my opinion. I don't think it is a sexually transmitted disease in the sense of what we've known STDs to be.
Right.
But I just think it's just in that looseness of that community that is happening as such. And I think in the past they had that what's that drug where they can take to ward off HIV.
Before PrEP, I believe it's called.
Yeah, PrEP.
That's it.
And it doesn't work for that. So
Right.
you're out there protecting yourself specifically against HIV. Now monkeypox comes up, and
it's because it's an area in that community where they still remain vulnerable. And that's
Absolutely.
why 98% of the community tends to be the ones that are contracting that. And they're queer and gay. And that includes trans and non-binary folks. So
I did hear some stuff about that. They said that, we're talking about some misinformation, right? But people take those numbers and say, oh, it's a LGBT plus
not.
community
It's
issue.
not.
It's not. It's called increasing your risk. You know what I mean? As we talked about in the other one.
Well,
So
just like with Brittney Griner,
yep. So yeah. So
yeah.
increasing your
Good
risk,
point.
and I also heard that. So another thing about this is that it's saying it comes from Africa. Why? First of all, this is one question. Why do all of our diseases come from Africa? Right? Except
Except for
for
COVID.
COVID. COVID was blamed on somebody else because that was political. At the time, we needed something from China, so that we was like, hey, China, y'all messed up. Regardless, but why does everything come from Africa? And that's one of the misinformations. I don't know if this comes from Africa or not, but when you think of, hey, this comes from Africa, oh, this comes from Africa, people start thinking Black people are dirty. Black people
Yeah.
are careless. Black people are, you know what I mean? Especially when they threw HIV on us. Oh, it stemmed from Black folks having sex with a monkey. You know what I mean? Which has never been confirmed. And now
Well, the
we have
first confirmed case of AIDS actually was in a white male, a white gay male. And so what happens is when you deal with these type of outbreaks, wherever they originate from initially, I think what happens is once you bring them into a society that suffers financially and economically, then you have those people that don't have
increased risk.
exactly. They don't have the ability to protect themselves. They don't have the money to not let this fester, and they don't have the money or access for for condoms and stuff like that. So those things also, the socioeconomics make a really big deal.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of white folks in Africa too, by the way, which is
Exactly.
a lot of
Thank
people
you.
think that Africans are
But a
just,
lot of people don't know this. So
now
that's why
Africa is a huge continent, so there is a majority probably of Black folks there. There's French, there's Spanish there's all sorts of Europeans there
Especially in South Africa.
because they took
you're right.
over. Yeah. And so people don't really understand that. So when they
Yeah,
bring, and first of all, common diseases come from Africa, right? But all the ones before that came from European, like Christopher Columbus. They came, brought it to the Indians. They came and brought it to Panama. They came and all of that. So what's up, man?
That's a great segue for what I was about to say.
What and punch it in.
Christopher Columbus brought smallpox, wrapped it up in blankets, and handed it to the Native Americans
On purpose.
on purpose, just purpose, and with no.
and so I don't think that they
remorse.
purposely did it. I just think that they came with smallpox. They didn't care if they gave it to anybody, but they had something to give, and they just gave the blankets and didn't care if they caught it.
Well,
So I don't know.
I wouldn't put
I guess
either
that was
above them though, Ladybug.
I'm
They
not going
came,
to give them
raped,
the
and
benefit of the
pillaged.
doubt.
They
I'm not
came,
giving it
raped,
to
and
them.
pillaged, took what they wanted.
Now that
I
they
need
did do.
I need them to know that they did it. So I'm sticking
Yeah,
with
they
my
know they
story.
did it.
Yeah, they know.
They
Uh,
did
Oh,
it,
they
and
know
they don't even. And they did wrap it up, make it look pretty.
And so in Christopher Columbus' journal and stuff, he pretty much said, what all he did, what he set out to do. But with that being said, smallpox and monkeypox, they're like cousins. And in 2019, that's when the smallpox, monkeypox vaccine was approved by the FDA. And
Was that when that outbreak came? You
yeah.
said there was a small outbreak.
So the outbreak happened in 2003.
Okay.
But they kind of washed that under the rug, like, hey, nothing happened type thing. And then I think 2 cases, 3 cases, and 4 cases in 2019. Well, they linked it to monkeypox, created a vaccine, and they just been sitting on it.
Yeah.
So
how,
go
I
ahead.
got a question. How big do y'all think it's gonna get? Is
I
it
think
gonna
it's
get
gonna shut
on
down
the
again.
COVID scale?
I don't think it's going to get big because I know that they've already been rolling out vaccines, but I know we're also, some places are running out of vaccines, but they're actually allowing people who can get vaccinated to go to other states that, it wasn't much like COVID where you had to get your vaccine in your state during your age. And so you have places like California and New York City that were running out of vaccinations for the monkeypox. And so people were going to other states and to get it now. But I think that as long as it's something contained, I don't think that it's going to. I think right now we're experiencing the hotbed of it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, though. Wasn't the virus that they or the vaccine that they're using? It wasn't actually created for.
It was not. It's actually
Smallpox.
Yeah.
it was
So
not.
I mean, I want to say something to that. That sounds like a money move. You're running out of vaccines. Okay, now Big Farm comes in, and conspiracy theorists, they continue to spread the monkeypox so that you need the vaccine. People are already
Right.
scared. You're traveling across state lines. That means, oh, okay, now we're testing the waters. People are scared now. They want this money move.
Yeah.
So just want people to start thinking about that,
I
because
don't doubt that it's a money move, but I think it's just the natural progression of
yeah, oh yeah, I want to know how
disease.
it spreads too much, but kids are about to go back to school. I
Yeah.
don't know the temperature level, but COVID had a temperature level, and it's about to be winter. So there you go. So I don't know if monkeypox thrives more in the winter because they seasons. So you never know. You never
Okay,
know.
so let me answer these few questions here because you asked about the spread of the disease. So the Centers of
Hmm.
Disease Control say that the incubation period, this is when someone's infected, but it isn't quite feeling sick yet, and they are not completely clear if people that are infectious at the point of time between when they meet some. So there is still some.
Wait, so can I ask this as well? What are the symptoms of monkeypox? Because I thought
Okay,
they
so
were just a bump.
flu-like. So the second phase is a flu-like phase. Some people start to feel a bit sick. They might have a headache. They may have a fever, and a person could possibly be contagious during that time and phase. And then there's a rash stage, and that's the ugliest stage of this type of disease and um, this infection. And in the third stage, lesions appear on the skin or inside of the mouth, nose, eyes, or anus. A person is definitely contagious at this stage, says the CDC.
Now, do you like, as we talked about the sexually transmitted? I'm sure people
Mm.
want to know, because you said the rashes would be on certain. They said genitalia, right, and or the anus. So, is that if you get it through sex contact, or is that in general? Is like if you touch some like the QT
Well,
ladies?
so basically what they're saying is that if a person has these sores, so let's say that the girl that caught it, she had a gentleman come in. She said she dealt with a lot of the homeless population, and they generally have a lot of lesions and scabies and stuff like that. So let's say there was a homeless guy, and he may have had these lesions in his mouth, and so he may have touched his fingers in his mouth, came to her with a dollar bill, or maybe left
Yeah.
some of that fluid on the counter, and she went and touched her face, and that's how she thinks she contracted it
So
because
hers
she
was mostly
wasn't.
on her face.
Yeah, it was all on her face.
So it's
And,
safe to, I mean, not safe to say, but closer safe to say that wherever you kind of make contact with it is where your rash might be.
right, exactly, and they say that too here. They say that it is even coming out of COVID. They said it is important that we stay diligent in washing our hands and clean
Yeah.
under our fingernails.
And just to add to what Mars, your question is a good one. So just imagine if you got it on your arm and you lay under your covers and you're rolling over. Just think
Mm-hmm.
how easy it is that it could spread to
Yeah, well,
other parts.
my cheeks don't spread for me to roll over and Blake can get it in the crack and not.
Do what now?
I'm just saying, I don't think it's gonna end up on my genitalia, like if it's not contact. That's
Well, I'm just
I
saying.
think that's
No.
people
Oh,
really want to know
yeah,
that.
you were specifically talking about genitalia, but
Yeah,
I'm
no
just saying
thanks.
that how easily
Oh
it can
wow,
spread from any part, just from your hand touching your leg, or
wow. COVID
anything.
isn't
Yeah,
even that.
Right, and what they're saying is that the best thing that you should do right now is um, again, wash your hands as much as possible. They said wash your children's hands as much as possible. And it also says that those would be some of the reasonable precautions. You may not get it from sitting on a plane or just eating in at a restaurant. But long periods of time with an infected person heightens the ability, heightens your chances of contracting it non-sexually.
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so make sure
And it's
you
different
know,
from COVID because COVID didn't last on surfaces, and this is
right.
early in the
Yeah.
series, but COVID
So
didn't last as long
this
on
does
surfaces.
have an ability to sit on a surface for an
Right.
amount of time. They said they're
And
not.
Yeah.
it must be advancing in its strand, because it was Ace, you said it was chilling in 2003. And did they say anything about it being a different strand of the original monkeypox,
That's a good
or
question.
From the research that I looked up, it was it just played on the surface of it and just said that this wasn't the first outbreak, and they said they was able to contain it just to the Midwest. And I think I think they wanted to test the waters after COVID and see how this played out. So
Yeah, and that's what I said something to Flex over the phone, and he wanted me to mention it. But you never know, guys. COVID kept us indoors, right? And what did a lot of people do? What do we have now? A lot of COVID babies, right? A lot of people getting pregnant because of COVID.
Right.
And what would monkeypox make you do? Especially since people were running and cross state lines to get their vaccines, they're gonna stay in the house. It's another scare like that. And so my
So you
conspiracy
think
is
that,
you never know, maybe another ploy to keep us in the house when we have Roe versus Wade in place, and now you can't get rid of these love babies when you're Netflix and chilling. Staying away from
Things that
I
make you
agree.
say,
I agree wholeheartedly.
while you're staying away from monkeypox. But I think I played on too many conspiracy theories today.
okay, take this.
catch monkeypox from respiratory discharge or touch. It is more transmittable than COVID, and the rash presents different places on different people. This virus also gestation for 2 to 4 weeks.
That sounds like a nice
Wow.
stimulus check. 4
Boy,
weeks
you crazy.
off. People really gonna lose and make some money this time, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's just hope everything, all hearts and prayers obviously go out to the people that have contracted
Absolutely.
monkeypox.
Yeah. I think if there's one positive on it, is that coming out of COVID, that we are more conscious about our how we're washing our hands and contacting, shaking hands, things of that nature, right there. So
Yeah,
that could be.
I'm gonna fist bump the
keep
hell
it-
at you.
You ain't doing that, 'cause, hey, you might be contagious, man. I'll be like,
I'm gonna
I ain't
disinfect
dapping nobody up again for a long time. It took me about a year and a half to dap people up. It was always fist bumps, and even then I was watching that. We going right back. We going right back to the
So then what Felicia, she said monkeypox ain't nothing but
Ace.
what's she, is
You know
it,
about
is the title?
Epigo?
I
They
did
don't.
not, but I looked
They
it up
had
though.
it. What and okay, so enlighten us, because I know what I think it is. You tell me what it is.
So it just says it starts as red sores and blisters, but it has redness and may be harder to see in brown or black skin. The sores
Where
are
are
blisters.
the origins?
That's a great question.
Africa.
Of course. It's going to be in Africa.
Yeah.
We'll take it all. We're just a blame game, aren't we? We just blame it on Africa.
And South Africa.
In South
South
And if it
Africa
can't
really
come
don't
from
get.
Africa,
Yeah,
then
South
it's gonna
Africa
come
don't
from
really get
and
talked
it's
about
gonna
that
come
much,
from
do
a
they?
Chinese lab if it can't come from Africa.
Exactly, man. These people crazy. Hey, so
A newborn nursery in Kentucky.
So it started with a kid.
Yeah, in 1880.
Yeah, and that's so weird because the chicken pox and the smallpox. Well, not the smallpox, but this usually starts with kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because their immune
Polio,
systems
stuff
are a
like
lot
that.
more. Yeah, because their immune systems are a lot weaker than, and then so
They're more
stuff that was spread in adults generally don't. That's just Let's do it.
So, as we switch off of the monkeypox, we'll go to another very serious topic, and that is of sex trafficking, and how we are desensitizing population when it comes to sex. So, we all know that sex sells. Everybody says that. Everybody knows that. Even subconsciously, even now they use sex to sell burgers. You see what I'm saying? So sex sells almost everything and anything. And as we get more technological savvy and lawyers get better at sweet talking, we're able to cuss now more. We're able to put a nipple slip here and there now. On certain stuff. I remember I usually do streaming services like mobile TV network, but
Right on.
when I'm watching these things and then I come back to regular TV, kind of like I use streaming service for music and then come back to the radio, I'm like, dang, they can say bitch now. You're like, dang, they can do this now. And I mean, and the N word is everywhere now. But as we're talking about that, as those things get lenient, how do we feel about desensitizing the population about sex? Because that definitely, probably most likely contributes to the sex trafficking that's going on.
I think it's there
Wait, can I
because
say this before you guys answer that question? I just
Mhm.
want to say big ups to Kansas for holding on to abortion rights. So I definitely want
Oh yeah,
that. So that is very important now that we talk about sex trafficking. That Kansas, a normally red place, is going to be definitely be the oddball when it comes to holding on to abortion rights. So again, Kansas is
yeah,
definitely going to pay the way for us. Yes, we're having issues in Arizona, but right now, Kansas, they really showed it. So back. I'm
yeah,
sorry. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I just definitely wanted to make
yeah.
sure I said that.
That's
Go
a
ahead,
good point.
Flex.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up too. So, but yeah, I was just going to say that to the question that Mars presented, does desensitizing the population contribute? Absolutely. I think number one, it gives a population that that's ready for or that's benefiting, if that's the right word to use, from sex trafficking. So if there was no one to exploit these kids to, then that practice wouldn't be as prevalent as it is. So I absolutely believe that
That part.
we're talking about all the time about our music, and here's the accountability piece. Our music, man, is notorious for how it portrays our women in not so good ways. And we think about the joke about y'all all heard that $40 joke. What you can do get from a chick for $40, and it's funny until it's not
Until
because of
you think
someone
about it.
right. But my thing, to your point again, it creates a population that could that wants to sex trafficking to succeed. I think.
Yeah. Because some people and some people rather sin in different ways, shall I say? Sin in different ways because some people can't handle their hormones. It's not even just teenagers; it's adults as well. Especially if you couldn't as a teenager, or if you couldn't release in certain areas, and that's male and female. And then you end up with either pedophiles, rapists, or sex traffickers. Or a market for sex traffickers.
Market for
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
And
I
so
like
you
Mm-hmm.
that.
make a really good point is you got to have a market for these things to be big. Like no business is big without its customers. And that's to get a child. I don't know the amount, but I'm pretty sure it costs a pretty penny. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but it costs some money. Ace.
So
Well, go ahead,
great,
Ace.
great segue to what I was gonna say.
I'm doing my best, Ace.
So you actually on point tonight. My so quick small story. I used to work for Homeland Security, TSA, ICE, and a whole bunch of agencies, and I was attached to the they call it the red team, but basically we try to stop human trafficking, and so it's a real thing. They have agencies that's their sole job, and that's what they do. Like even in the airport, you have behavior detection officers that's going to talk to kids. Like, hey, who is that to you? They ask you certain, and if you answer it and your body language is off, they'll pull you to the side and basically interrogate you. So, with that being said, I actually did a piece on sex trafficking, human trafficking, sex enslavement, and what have you. And I have like about 20 stats. I'm not going to say all of them, but 20 statistics that goes into this what we're talking about. So there's as of 2017, there was 24.9 millions confirmed victims trapped into sex slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Of those 24.9 million, 16 million were exploited for labor, 4.8 million were exploited sexually, and 4 million were exploited for forced state enforced labor. So I know you guys have been shopping for something, and you'll see like a dresser, and it'll be $80, or a dresser was $200, and then right under it, a dresser will be $35,000. Well, those are sex trafficking, basically clickbaits. People that sex traffic know, and so you'll click that dresser, and it's going to
What
send
was
your
the thing?
information.
It was way. What was the other one? I don't even know how they're still here. But what was it? Wave. What was it? One of the like Wish.com, but it wasn't Wish. It was like Wavy. Which was what was the one?
All of them have it. Like from everyone has them because of course the consumer is always right. So you can go just like Facebook Market, you can go put something on there and whatever. But sex traffickers know what to look for. And,
Well, they also know what the code words, right?
Yeah.
Because I
And
know
so, like
there's pedophile code words and symbols and all that stuff.
Yep.
Wayfair. So it was Wayfair.
Yeah.
Madlock, appreciate you.
And so the like I said, it is a real thing. I have 4 girls, and I'm thankful that I'm able to be active in their life. Like I volunteer at all my kids' schools and just try to keep. I got tracking devices on every last one of them, and like I said, this is a really thing. So don't take lightly of it. Like it can happen to anyone, and then they string them out on drugs, and they'll be working in a sweatshop. 2,000.
They'll use them however they want to.
Yeah, however they want to. And they buy them for 100,000, 200,000, millions.
It's a big market. Anything with a big market, no matter what it is. That's why there is a black market. People just thought that was in movies. No, that's a real thing. There's a literal black market, and people are like code people. Like when they first learn how to get to the black market, some people that are straightforward people or good members of society, they're like, I was scared, I shouldn't have been there. Like I should not have, not because I could have got caught, but because it's a terrible place to be, because you can get anything you want, you can see anything you want, which is just it's wild to think that that's out there. And if that's out there just on the internet,
right?
So the dollar amount that I got from humanrights.org says as of last year, $150 billion to the top sex traffickers.
And that's just known. That's just known. That's what they came across, and that's in the billions before that. That's the stuff that they, with Roe versus Wade, do we believe that we'll have a uptick in sex trafficking? Because parents, especially in some communities, one of ours is big on getting caught. I wouldn't say that we're the biggest doing it, but we're big on getting caught because like your risk are increased. So we're always being watched anyways. But would you say there'll be an uptick in sex trafficking because of Roe versus Wade and not being able to get rid of a child?
Oh yeah, I mean it's gonna uptake in a lot of stuff because of Roe versus Wade. But that's minute to the actual problem that they're trying to fix at hand. And I leave that at the surface, but absolutely to answer your question, I think it's going to go up tremendously, actually, because it's going to be kids that don't have parents, so they're going to be misguided and listen to somebody who they think loves them, and there they go.
Flex said, you said that the like the orphanages and the people that are adopting, they don't even have families to go to now, right? And some of the things is that adoption agencies were big contributors to the sex trafficking and the organ donating. They're big on that, That's why they always end up at houses and families where they're just about money, because they're not actually doing the right applications.
Yeah, and I think it's that in labor. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. There is a vulnerable population too.
I really want to hear. I think that for me, I think this is an important part of the show where we get to hear what men think on primarily women issues. And I say this because we are already hearing so much about what men think about our reproductive issues. It's very interesting to me to hear how this panel of Black men actually feel about these issues. So I mean, you guys, I honestly, I could be here all night talking about this type of stuff. But I think that this actually is allowing for this platform to actually be more of an ally to women, as opposed to telling women, hey, this is what you should and shouldn't do with your body. Right. What you guys are doing in this moment is you're basically stating the facts. And so you're digging deep into areas where sex trafficking and abortion meet. And so, the way that it is impacting our society, and the things that have changed in different states, and states having the control over abortion issues are going to definitely, to piggyback off of what Ace said, kind of kind of kind of spiral, because there are going to be people out here that truly believe that these states that are turning over Roe versus Wade are saying that this is a free for all for us to attack women, to be nasty, to be rude, to murder. I think that it's much like when Trump came in office and we saw more hate. You understand what I'm saying? So this, I
On all
think,
parties.
exactly. I think these type of instances actually push more hate and violence against women, and I
So
think that it takes
absolutely.
I think that it takes men to be aware and to know when to be involved. So I think that, telling a woman what she should do with her body is wrong, but understanding what she wants to do with her body is for her to do, and standing behind her is actually where all men can be allies. And so what you guys are doing right now on this platform on Greenwood podcast is so important, because what you're telling women is that we stand with you, and we stand with the causes, and we stand with this assault on women and their bodies right now. And this is
Yeah.
an assault that has happened for years, but now that it's no longer quiet, I think that
Mhm.
sex trafficking is something that also goes on in the household. That's something that we didn't quite touch on, because Mars made a comment where he said, I'm sure that, there's a lot of money in sex trafficking. And he's right, there is. And a lot of times you have a lot of your Hispanic women become victims of sex trafficking. A lot of immigrants experience having to get out of these sex trafficking rings. But what we don't realize is that there are sex traffickings that go on in homes all over America quietly.
Yeah.
I read the story of Anne Heche, who really recently just got herself, she actually set herself on fire in the car. And for years, she had been dealing with issues of abuse inside of her own home. And so, there are a lot of women that are sex trafficked right under our nose. They're sex
Yeah.
trafficked by their boyfriends. They're people that you know. They're your neighbors, your sisters, your cousins,
Yeah.
your friends of friends, your daughters, fam. Though there are so many instances. So I think that one thing that anybody that wants to be an ally for women's rights can do is pay attention to the signs, protect the children that are in your space, and
Yeah.
always be that voice that someone can come to and tell the truth. And
One of the
believe
issues
women.
with that, the issue with that is that a lot of people are willfully blind. Like they want to stay ignorant to the fact, as if that doesn't make them accountable or responsible for helping someone that's in need. And I say it because I'm thinking about when like when I deployed overseas. And I remember like, man, why are the in the heck are we over here in these people country trying to tell them what to do, until I got on the ground and actually listened to some of these people
Mhm.
horror stories or witnessed it, for myself. And I was like, man, you sometimes you got to get out of your own space and get into the mind and,
Absolutely.
and situations of other people, and you realize that a lot of people try to paint this abortion as a black and white issue, and I'm not talking about race, but like just right or wrong, yes or no type issue. And there's so many moving pieces
Right.
to it, and it took me, and it wasn't me being before being biased towards her or anything. I just didn't know,
Right.
and I had to begin
And
to
you didn't have
listen
to
and
get
understand.
down on her level. You just had to open your heart to her situation.
And listen, and I cannot imagine being a female molested by a family member or raped by somebody else, and you being forced to carry this child to term. And I'm not saying that that's killing it is or having an abortion is a easy decision, but the people that are
Decision.
making these decisions, man,
Decision.
it's so clueless and so heartless. And I think what they're doing is they try to put this one size fit all. Oh, you're killing, 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 but they do nothing to try to improve people's social and economic stance or privilege in this world. A lot of people that I should say a lot of people, I don't want to put a number, but I know some people do it because they feel helpless.
Right.
Like, how am I going to take care of a child when I'm already struggling, or whatnot. But, a lot of these people say, "Oh, you can adopt, you can put the baby up for adoption," but a lot of these people that do it, they don't adopt kids. They don't even donate to the homeless.
They
They
don't
don't
even
do.
listen to the podcast with information about sex trafficking rings and adoption agencies. They don't even
And
do that.
Or
especially that.
monkeypox. You know, they'd be like,
Oh
"Oh,
my
they talking
God.
about monkeypox. Oh, I thought they was talking about something. Oh,
Yeah,
okay." And then they
yeah,
go
these
out with
people crazy.
somebody with
And end
something
up with
cold in the
monkeypox
street and be
in
like,
the
"They
anus
said
area.
monkeypox. You can get it from your hair follicle." Like, you know, you know. Sometimes people don't want to listen to reason. You
It's intentional though. So these people are sitting here saying that. Hey, I can't remember the congressman's name, but when it came out that Biden told the story about the 10-year-old that was raped, and she went to, I think, Indiana.
and to get the abortion.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, it's a lie," and he just started this whole, social media trend that Biden was lying about this situation, and it does nothing for this young girl and this girl's parents,
Right.
that was a victim of rape, and it's just ridiculous to
And,
how
And
and really,
how
this is one of those things
people
where it
are
doesn't even matter if he was lying or
right.
not. She went and got an
Exactly.
abortion or she didn't. Abortion is on her. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It shouldn't affect anybody else's life. You know what I mean?
but
And
So, but
why is whether or not this is still an issue. You
yeah,
know, she was
yeah,
a rape victim. You
yeah,
know, she was a rape victim.
yeah.
they don't care, man. They don't care, and they intentionally
Even the
don't
lady,
care.
I saw the lady was talking. The lady was she was on the side of, well, she can't have an abortion. You know what I mean? And the dude was talking on her behalf. But Ace, you had something to say, brother?
Yeah, it's I had what I have is two parts. So first is some more statistics about the sex trafficking. Is that 26% are Caucasian, 40% are African American females, and 63% is Hispanic females.
Hmm.
And what I would say, like I said, as a father of four beautiful little ladies, is that another statistic that really just jumped out to me was that um, the 75% of the victims that are sex trafficked are 18 or older. So, with that being said, young ladies, listen to your aunties, listen to your mothers, listen to your grandmothers, listen to um, people that are in your village. If you don't have a village, join a sorority or something so people can actively help you.
There are organizations out there
Yes,
that are willing to help.
yes.
Yeah.
Just I mean, try to make sure you have a village or have something because this is a very, very real thing. To keep going to Roe versus Wade, that's a heartfelt topic for me because I am product of such. I won't go into the weeds, but I am a product of that said felony. And my mother went back and forth between whether she should have me or not. And here I am talking to you. But
Mhm.
it was her decision to have me. And
Good decision.
we don't have those reproductive organs. We don't have those postpartums. We don't have those periods. We don't have anything that can even let us shed light on what a woman goes through while they're pregnant, and we don't deserve the right to um, cast judgments or make them do whatever they don't want to do. So that's
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I'm with you on
Thank
that.
you for that. Thank you for that. That was beautiful, and thank you for sharing that private information with us because it shows the testament to you to say, yeah, you know what, my mother made the decision. It was
yeah,
her decision to make. I am glad she made it, but if she didn't, it is her choice.
yeah,
And that's the best part about that story. And I appreciate you, Ace, for telling us is that it was her decision, right?
yep,
And so now there's a lot of girls right now, no matter what happens tomorrow or what overturned and all that, but right now they are not able to make
absolutely,
decisions. They're not able to make a decision. They're not able to look at pros and cons list. They just have one thought, you know what I mean? And that's not fair. Period. You know what I mean? When God gave us this globe or this frisbee, whatever he gave us,
Right.
it was free. We could walk wherever we wanted. It took forever, It took forever. We had to swim, make boats, and all that stuff. But we could go wherever we wanted before people got greedy, like Christopher Columbus and the people, the Spanish and all that. They wanted more. Well, even well before them, you had the great conquerors, the Genghis Khans, and all them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They wanted more, but even still, people were still, if you weren't enslaved, you were still able to walk away, go somewhere, build a house somewhere. Until.
Choice.
And that's what people forget. We living on a floating rock, paying bills, and we have to deal with this stuff. So to be informed is to be, I wouldn't say woke. I hate saying that, but to be informed is to just be informed. It's really good. People say, why do you want to know this stuff? So that you know. Walking around blindly is worse.
So history doesn't repeat itself.
Not only that, if in sex trafficking, like the information, like we said about the monkeypox, if you're not informed, now you got a rash on your anus area, and you weren't informed. You don't listen. You know what I mean? That's your fault. And people,
or you got children that you're responsible for that you need to.
That as well. But I think we hold parents to way more to too much of a standard, because most times parents are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's why we have a shit ton of assholes in the world, because their parents didn't do what they were supposed to do. And Ace, like I was thinking, all our kids are going to go through this world and have to decipher, right? If you're not taught how to decipher, you're lost as kids. You're already in a box. You're already in somebody else's simulation. Somebody's. Yeah. Whether it's McDonald's simulation, whether it's Instagram's metaverse is coming up.
Yes.
And conscious people who know how to decipher, they'll go into the metaverse and be like, okay, this isn't real. This isn't real life. Let me go deal with what I need to deal with. People that have never learned how to decipher get caught in a box, somebody's box. So that's one thing I did want to say as I wrap up my final parting words. I'll let Flex go, then we'll go with Ace, and then Miss Ladybug last but not least. But I know that you got all the good information. So anything you guys got coming up, anything you guys definitely shout out you guys' other handles so that we can get people
following. We're going to start with you, and you're going to let us know.
There's me?
Yes. It's your show, and you got the best event alive coming up right now.
Well, I hope so. I
think give us a background on what you got cooking.
Okay. So first of all, I'll let you know about this up and coming week that's coming up. August 13th, I will be in the 757 going to a back to school. It's hosted by Vision Driven 757. It'll be at 2 p.m. to 4, and that's going to be at 4900 High Street in Portsmouth. Just want to let everybody know about that. Then my other event, which said, sorry, Miss Ladybug.
Can we flash that for the audience and all our mobile media participants so they can kind of see our flyer out there? There we go.
And then next, this is my big event that Miss Ladybug was alluding to, and I'll have the John Carlos Run for Humanity. That'll be in October 8th and 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is a community event as well, so you do not have to run or walk, but we love people to come and run and walk. This event will have music. It'll have vendors. It'll have food. It'll have communion resources, everything that you're looking for. The Floor is Yours podcast will be there, taking some interviews. We have scholarships that we're giving away. We have local hero nominations that we're going to be giving. We're just going to be trying to have a bunch of fun down in the 757. It'll be in Portsmouth. Right now it's at the Pavilion that's downtown Portsmouth, but then we're trying to move it to Icy Norcom possibly, so it'll still be in the same area. neurospace.llc@outlook.com is my email if you have any questions, but we definitely want to see you there. We definitely want to have a good time, commune, talk. You can come talk to Flex. I'm not sure who else will be there, but I'll definitely be there, and we'll have a lot of other people that are on the Mogul TV network and on Greenwood, and the Floor is Yours. So we're gonna be having fun. We're gonna be having fun. Just the gist of it is come out, have some fun, eat some food, listen to music, get some resources, and get to meet some of us. So we can talk.
Before you move on,
come yell at us.
Tell them who John Carlos is.
John Carlos is a famous Olympian civil rights humanitarian, and that is my grandfather. He is a very, very interesting man. He might be there for people that are interested, but he did it for humanity. Everything he did for humanity. not just the culture, because the culture, it starts with the culture, but we do have to live on this world and this planet with other people. And if we're just being kind and loving each other, it's for humanity. You know what I mean?
So
This is
he's
Amen.
civil
for
rights
humanity.
icon legend, your grandfather.
Yes.
He is United
Yes. Civil
Civil Rights.
rights icon legend. I like the way you put that.
Hey,
Yeah.
tell him if he come, I'll buy him lunch
Okay. Okay. I'm
from the
gonna need some
food
lunch
truck.
too.
Yeah, I got you too, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
I got his picture right there. If y'all can see it.
Oh, I see
Oh,
it.
I do see it.
I see it right up under Malcolm.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Oh wow. Oh
Oh, back
wow.
there. I'm like, what are you pointing at, man? I'm looking at
Yeah, I
the
I
see
see
it.
it. It's right
I
below
see it.
Malcolm. It's right
I see
there.
it. So yes, everybody come out. If you're interested in maybe seeing him, if you're interested in just communing, come on out.
It's
I'd
a
really
great cause.
appreciate it.
All right then.
Oh yeah.
Ace,
Cool, cool.
Um,
you
for me,
parting thoughts?
um, parting thoughts. With how deep the conversation was, I will say this to the men and women that watch Greenwood. I'm grateful for having this opportunity to be able to come and talk amongst like-minded people, agree to disagree, whatever, what have you. But I was told something when I was a child, and it was that God protects children, no babies, old people, and fools. The people that He doesn't protect, He put men here to protect them. So men that are watching, protect the women, protect the old people, protect the children. That's what we're here for. That's why we are bigger individuals physically, is so we can be here to protect women, old people, and fools. That's all I got.
And even the food. That's the hardest part
That's the
sometimes.
Yeah.
hardest
It
part.
is.
That's the hardest
God
part.
Well, this
knows
is what
it
we're
Okay,
is.
don't
doing
want to.
right now. Our information, our love, our smiles, even through these hard topics, we're protecting the fools right now because we're
Yeah,
informing the fools. Well,
absolutely.
everybody, not no fools, but we're informing fools.
Hey, but they at the bottom of the pecking list. I'm gonna
Yeah, they
protect the
are
kids.
right about that. Well, I just want to say my parting thoughts are thank you guys for having this last topic, yet serious but very necessary. And so I appreciate just the dialogue that we had about it. I appreciate the support and you guys being allies for the violence that we continue to see against women in this country. And so, and saying that, I'd like to say that all of our podcasts are always opinionated. So argue with your mama. No, I'm just playing.
Well, bring your
I
mama on to
But we
second
argue
try
with
to
that.
us
bring,
too.
but we try to bring you the most factual information as possible, and we cite our sources when we come on here. So understand that we at least try to find three sources, and together we come with our best educated opinions based off the information in front of us before we bring it to you. So we want to definitely, while we're on all of our platforms, educate, motivate, which is currently having a path to 800 credit score. So tune in for that. T Will Superman will always be bringing you all the information that you need to know on how to build your credit score. And also stay tuned to his Belize, by Belize, Live Belize 360 Expat series. So where he is going into and talking to people who live and who have decided to purchase and real estate agents in the area. If you've ever thought about leaving this chaotic United States and possibly living somewhere else, but yet doing business in your native. And stay tuned for I Said What I Said. And that, again, is another opinionated podcast. So argue with your mama. It actually says that on the promos. So it's where we have a group of women that sit down and talk about things that matter inside of some of those female circles that you don't always get to go inside and really see what the thought process is. So that's an interesting. I say men should watch it too because it is informative. And so the culture
I've
can you
definitely
pull the
watched it.
culture out. The culture is an amazing show where we get
Yes.
Luna and we get Coach G, and they come together and they give us some of the most interesting conversations that you want to have. A big topic is mental health. So if you're ever on the culture, please stop by and give my girl Luna a shout out. And then I could never forget our Loving Relationships. Our Loving Relationships is a wonderful podcast. If you're struggling with your relationship, stay tuned. We got a host of characters. They're going to tell you what they got to tell you. So I'm going to kick it over to Flex. I want to thank you guys for having me on the panel again tonight. It was wonderful. I love the conversation. Thank you to everyone from Mogul TV. Thank you so much for always allowing us to stream through your platform and bringing us more viewers as we share this awesome space that we have in order to speak our minds. So, Flex, I'm going to kick it over to you, let you lead the outro, and give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, just two quick points for me. One is I think we should spend more time trying to make people understand our point versus convincing them to think like us.
Right.
And I think we'll make strides if we just go in it trying to understand a person's point of view. That's at the end of the day, that's what empathy is, right? Uh, but other than that, man, we're working on a huge event towards the end of the year. It's in its infancy stages, so I won't speak a lot on it, but it's another mental wellness event, and we're trying to incorporate it with a gala. We know that we like to dress up and show up, so that's going to give us a chance to do just that. And we want to make it as creative and as fun as possible. So reserve some space on your calendars towards the end of the year. Just keep your eyes and ears open for more information forthcoming on a gala hosted by the Floor is Yours podcast, but partnered by some of the local elected officials here in the Dallas area.
Nice.
So it's gonna be
I'm excited. About to get on a plane.
On a suit.
Yeah, I love getting dressed up. I love getting dressed up. So thank you again for tuning in, you guys. Flex, as always, the producer doing this thing, and Miss Ladybug, always good to have you. I appreciate you. And Ace, he said he's new, but he's coming with them numbers. And I love it. And I love it. And I appreciate it. And he got Grandpa right behind him. So we're going to be good. We're going to be good. As always, thank you, Mogul, for letting us stream on here and be able to have our humblest opinion. And thank you guys for tuning in to Greenwood on the Floor is Yours podcast. We'll see y'all next time.
They the Roy's new podcast, who want the smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. From racial issues to fashion flies to cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on our this the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of a mom, they the start of it all. You looking for a high learning, holla at the rock. The professor, nothing lesson, coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Won't need another, this one here really do it for you. Baby, the floor is yours. Yeah, baby, I'm on the floor is yours. If we come down to the floor is yours. Let me show you how pro the floor is yours. 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 The floor is yours.
Peace out, people.
Night, y'all.
Next